Good afternoon, Colin. Good to be with you. Thank you.
Yeah, this has been a very long and protracted strike. Yes. And of course, why is it so difficult for this impasse to be resolved?
Sure, if we had the answer, we could help them out. You know, I think that sides have been taken, positions have been met, and there's a reluctance to be seen to be weak. You know, that would go against the African tradition of showing strength. Well, I think this is a time to be seen to be humanistic. To say, we have now got people close to being starved. Charities are having to deliver food parcels to keep people alive. There's something wrong there when there are jobs just waiting to be filled. So perhaps it is a question for a power seeking amongst the unions themselves. Why should they do that? Because there could be a desire to get political influence or to get control of the assets of the unions, which are really quite considerable. They're built up over years, or the cash flow. And this is seen as a dual incentive.
There has been a let-up from the side of mine managers in terms of the wage offer. When you look at the previous offers from 7.5%, 8%, 9%, now at 10%, but the union is not prepared to meet them halfway.
This is a difficult situation, I must admit. And of course, what we have to realize that if the union's demands were met, the mines, or some of the mine shafts, would go out of business almost immediately. Certainly within the medium term, the next 2 to 3 months, there would be even more, just simply not able to cover costs with the revenue that they would earn. And this has got to be taken into account. Perhaps it would help a bit if the very top management weren't seen to be taking millions when the chaps at the bottom are only wanting thousands.
The 17.6 million salary issue for the CEO.
But don't forget, these are benefits which have accrued over years. So the performance that was made perhaps when the mines were very profitable 2 to 3 years ago are suddenly coming through now in accumulated share options. And this is perhaps, I think, a large part of it. But nevertheless, it must be very, very hard for a miner who says, all I want is 12,000, and hey, he's getting 17 million or whatever. I think it should be seen to be coming together a bit.
Well, the CCMA has failed to broker an agreement here. So where should these negotiations go if they are to be resolved and the workers can get back to work?
Perhaps the workers need new representatives. You know, this is how the Marikana strike was finally solved. The workers formed workers' committees. Now, I'm not suggesting that we break away from formal structures, but what I do say is, if it worked then, perhaps they should at least be included to a greater participation in these negotiations, because it's rippling through. It's not just the mining industry, it's all the support industries surrounding that. Every miner is effectively responsible for another 2 or 3 jobs outside his own position, and people are starving.
When you're looking at platinum production, it has been stalled and mines declaring force majeure to their clients. So now, what do you think the performance of the markets is going to be like in as far as platinum is concerned? And secondly, those companies that actually need platinum to manufacture products and all that, what happens in the interim?
In the meantime, the mines set up quite a big inventory. So they could go, clearly they've gone for 3 months, going on for 4 months, without mining new ore. So that was really very good management. They were then obviously expecting a protracted strike. That was good planning, I would say, on their part. But that doesn't going to go on forever. The problem is, of course, that you can say, oh, well, then we're going to get a bonanza. The platinum that we do deliver will earn a much higher price. The higher the price goes, the more that there is going to go into looking for an alternative. Already palladium is seen as an alternative. We produce a lot of the world's palladium, but we don't have the same dominant position as we do with platinum. And then the manufacturers will say, well, hold on, let's in fact investigate more electric cars, hydropower, whatever it is, so that the higher the price goes for platinum, the quicker we sign the eventual demise of platinum itself.
Okay, other alternatives that have been proposed, retrenchment, mechanization, and all that. And of course, the impact generally of the strike on the country's economy and image.
On the country as a whole and their image, first of all, we're seen as not being a reliable indicator. We're finding foreign chambers of commerce who operate in South Africa in partnership with South African chambers are saying Don't expect any more foreign direct investment, any new capital coming from us when we're uncertainty of the sanctity of our own assets, where we have an unstable labour situation, we're unsure of electricity supply. I'm sorry, they're saying, we're not going to give you any more investment. What is this going to do? It's going to mean the country is going to grind along at a slower growth rate. We're going to find out that those few exports we have don't cover the cost of our imports. We're going to have a negative trade balance, a negative current account deficit. The rand will take some more strain inevitably over time, and that means that will push up inflation. That would be a very bad outcome, because the people at the bottom of the pile, the poorest, the miners and their families, suffer the most. It doesn't seem correct.
Right. Thank you very much for your viewpoints. Right. Chief Economist at the South African Institute for Race Relations, that's Cruishank there, giving us an analysis of the strike in the Platinum Belt in Rustenburg in the Northwest.